Again, just
Do you need a chair?
to just norm us again in this. We're going to be treating this space as a college discussion. So again, making sure we're going back to the text, making sure we're critiquing each other, really delving deeply into the text. Okay. So I want to start off with what is Beyonce saying about particularly black masculinity in this section of the video. What does she talk about in terms of black masculinity?
I think she was trying to explain that we're going back to this. It was kind of explaining how Jay-Z himself was kind of pioneer to this idea of being big pimping or having all possible, all the good-looking girls under your hands, and like they can't write about you. And Beyonce kind of critiques that by showing Jay-Z practicing different effects.
I want to take a step back before we even get to that, though. What does she say influences that? Like, what creates that feeling, that need to get as many girls as possible?
Which thing?
What creates that need to get as many girls as possible? Because she talks about that. We can go back to like the spoken word that we were talking about. Like, what is it? There's something in Lemonade that she talks about as like creating that need.
Wasn't it, she kind of explained Jay-Z, how Jay-Z always felt that he wasn't good enough for her.
Where do we see that in the video? Just talked about it. Where did we see her talking about this idea of him feeling like he wasn't good enough? Yeah, in the spoken word that we read, right? There's that refrain of like, why do you feel like you don't deserve love? So what is she then saying about black masculinity in the video?
You could be saying that on the outside it's like this tough exterior, but on the inside it's actually like they know truly what's going on and they know the situation.
Okay, what is the situation then?
That Jay-Z was undeserved. He gave a tough exterior, but on the inside he knew that the situation was like he didn't deserve Beyonce.
Okay, so feeling like you didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
How does that go back to what Bell Hooks was saying about the civil rights movement? What were the gender roles in the civil rights movement?
I think she was saying there was she was like subservient and to the point where they view women as just people to breed warriors.
So there's the idea of women breeding warriors movement. What was the perspective of black men in the civil rights movement? What were they trying to do? Particular for going back to the text, is in AI woman. What were the black men trying to do in the civil rights movement? What were the black men trying to do in the civil rights movement? What was their goal?
Oh, they were the rights to everybody.
Were they trying to get equal rights for everybody?
No, not everybody, but just them.
Okay.
And they just told the women to sit back and watch.
Okay, so they told us that women to sit back and watch Manny.
It's kind of for their self-benefit.
What do you mean by that?
Well, like, they know that black women fall off, you know, that's part of them. But, like Saban said, they were just told to sit back and watch while they get their rights. And then women are still kind of just left out of the picture.
Okay, so what were their rights? What were they trying to get? Their voting rights, but beyond that, what were they trying to get?
Quality?
Okay, equality with whom? With white men. So what were they trying to be? Men. There was this whole discussion of that they were trying to reclaim manhood, right? That like the civil rights movement, the purpose of it, according to civil rights leaders in many cases, was let us be men again. We've been stripped of our ability to be men, let us be men. Women sit aside, let us kind of get this first. So then once we have the historical context, what then is this poet saying about what was happening with Jay-Z in the video? What does the poet say about black masculinity in specifically that Sandcastle's video? Yes, Caleb. Speak up.
I said that it's the idea that women need them and exist for only them.
So what does that mean? Geneva, can you say that louder? Okay, that men are superior and that women need them. Okay. What does existing for them mean?
Like they were made for them. Like,
For what?
sex.
For sexual pleasure. That's the purpose of women. To breed warriors, to breed children, and provide sexual pleasure. So then, how is Jay-Z, first of all, how does Jay-Z build up that image? How does he kind of create that narrative? What specifically did he say? Okay, that he's him. I'll be chasing, I replace them. Replace who? In and out, and in and out. Yeah. Okay, so this idea of replacing women. What else does he say? How does he build this up? He gives an entire song called Bim Bim Bim. It is this idea of the idea of creating pimp culture, right? So what is that pimp culture then? If we were to say broadly. Okay, so that women aren't important, and there's just this idea of replacing women. Okay. So then, how does Jay-Z critique that? Or does Beyonce critique that through Jay-Z? Specifically in Sandcastles. What happens? Okay, so there's this idea of vulnerability. How do we see vulnerability in the video? How do we see vulnerability in the video? Say it again. Okay, yeah, he's laying, his head's by her feet. How does that show vulnerability?
I mean, it kind of seems like it's antithesis of like what he was trying to push.
What do you
It's like that idea of like you should just replace women and not like that and never get like you said y'all be chasing or just replacing. So he's like saying if you're trying to be all romantic with these girls, I'm getting another one that's for like sexual pleasure. That video just shows the opposite of that because he's over here wrapping around girls' arms and romantic sense.
Okay, so he's wrapped around. We see him in a romantic context then. If he really believed this, what would he have done when Beyonce was like, bye? If he said, y'all be chasing, I replace them, what would he have done? Replaced her. You'd have been like, okay, next one. But he didn't do that. How do we know he didn't do that? He's at her feet. What else? What other images do we see of Jay-Z in that video? Yeah. Okay, so explain that image. You're talking about the one in bed?
No.
Oh, just the one they're wrapped around each other?
Towards the end.
Okay. Then why is that image important of them kind of hugging, wrapped around each other?
Because it kind of shows that like he wants to stay. I got you, friend.
I want you to think about like a hug. How is that different than like something like that's more sexual? How is a hug different when you're like treating someone that you're like romantically involved with? How is that hug then, why is that warmth important here? What isn't Beyonce to him? Beyonce's not important? Why would he be hugging her? To protect her. So then there's this sense that she's not just, she's not replaceable. She's not someone to just kind of make him feel like a man.
She irreplaceable.
She did say she was irreplaceable. So then, I also want to focus on that image that is mentioned in this article of like him staring straight at the camera. Why is that vulnerability important? He stares straight at the camera and kind of like accepts what he's done wrong.
Because he's not hiding.
And why is that important?
Like if you're vulnerable, like you're open about everything. Like you're not covering anything up. You
Okay.
accept the fact you wrong.
Say it again. Say it again.
You accept the fact that you were wrong.
Except for the fact that he's like absolutely saying like I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, Jocelyn.
Didn't Beyonce do the same thing where she stared into the camera and wasn't supposedly hiding behind who she supposedly was as an artist?
So there's this double vulnerability of she's saying I'm not what? What isn't she? Say it again. She's not replaceable, but what isn't she to her fans? Remember in the first part she says God is God and I am not?
Perfect.
She's not perfect. She says I am not perfect, and then JC says what?
I'm wrong.
What does JC say when he does the same thing?
And then he's being
He's not perfect. He's admitting his flaws. So then, is there room for that type of masculinity? Is there room for vulnerability, for true vulnerability, in this historical idea of what black masculinity is? Of like needing to prove you're a man, needing to prove big pimpin'. Is there vulnerability in that? Are men historically allowed to be vulnerable and emotional?
No, they so
It's seen as a sign of weakness. So then why is it important that Jay-Z of all people is staring into the screen saying, I'm not perfect, I messed up?
Just look at Jay-Z, like, first of all, the culture he's created around music. Just look at Jay-Z as a person, the culture he's created as a person, like, he's practically, this is like a self-made businessman. Net worth is around like 500 million. He's rich, he has women, or now he has one of those beautiful women. He has so many cars, so many houses, and now he's in this music, they're kind of calling himself as perfect.
It's a hopeful, reciprocal, like, black male society mentality.
What do you mean?
Like, it's like a twist, well, a hope for a twist, because everybody not gonna listen to everybody. Everybody not gonna listen to Jay-Z, because everybody don't care about Jay-Z. But you have enough people that listen, well, you have enough men that listen to him, that might check it out.
So there's this idea of like maybe this will change the conversation.
I've been processing a lot as you guys are talking about this idea of vulnerability, and I wonder where, because you asked almost like two distinct questions, which were interesting. One was like, is there room for a black man to be vulnerable? And one was, do we make space for a black man to be vulnerable? And I feel like those could be two different things, and I wonder where class is intersecting with race and gender here. Like, can he afford to be vulnerable? I'm just speaking from personal experience, and like, people that I know very, very well, black men saying like, there is no actual like physical room for me to be vulnerable if I want to survive. And so I wonder to what extent, like, as African American men get wealthier, can they literally afford vulnerability?
I feel like they never, they